Years ago, when I was working in the corporate world, I was making a very good salary, far more than I needed to live on. But this was also the unhappiest time of my life. I felt like I was a slave to work. I knew something needed to change. During this time, I began to practice Sabbath. It was life-changing. I began to feel more connected to God, my soul, and the most important people in my life, and I felt more joy. Now, years later, Sabbath continues to serve as a vital part of my life. While Sabbath will look different for each person, and the Sabbath isn't just a day of religious to-dos, here's a part of how the day often looks for me. On my Sabbath, I go off of my devices for the day unless I'm specifically wanting to connect with someone. In the morning, I'll take a long walk with our golden retriever Sasha on the beach or through a forest trail, and I will give thanks to God for the gifts of my life thus far. At noon, I'll have lunch with my wife Sakiko, and we enjoy unhurried time together. Later in the afternoon, I might go on a run or bike ride with our teenage son Joey in a nearby park, or connect with a friend. On my Sabbath, I will also make dinner, which doesn't feel like work to me because it's so different from my everyday work, and I usually only cook once a week. This also gives my wife, who cooks the rest of the week, a Sabbath, and we enjoy dinner as a family. The Sabbath, to use Abraham Joshua Heschel's phrase, is a palace in time, where we delight in God, life itself, and the people who are most important to us. Ann Voskamp says, it's a gift we cannot afford to refuse. Our practice for this week is to set aside space for Sabbath. Actually experiencing the Sabbath day requires some preparation. To support you through this, we have prepared a practical tool in the course guide to help you plan for this day. 24 hours is a major commitment, and it takes some work to give up work. So our recommendation is to start small. If a full 24-hour Sabbath is too much for this coming week, just carve out a few hours, perhaps on Sunday afternoon after church, or on Saturday, or whenever there is a good slot in your weekly schedule. We also recommend the following. First, begin your Sabbath celebration by connecting with God. You might start with a ritual that helps remind you that God is present as you anticipate enjoying this day together. You might begin by lighting a candle, or with a prayer of thanksgiving, by reading a passage of Scripture, or participating in a worship service at church. Second, when possible, share at least part of the Sabbath with your friends and family, the most important people in your life. You might share a meal, or enjoy an activity or an outing, or set aside space to walk or have tea and conversation together. Third, engage in things that make you come alive to God, who faithfully provides for us even as we take time away from work. My friend Mark Buchanan says, the golden rule of Sabbath is to cease from what is necessary and to embrace what gives life. For some of us, this might involve walking through a forest trail or hiking up a mountain. Others find life while listening to music, playing in a jam session, or viewing a beautiful work of art. Some feel joy when they get lost in a captivating novel or movie. Others love eating delicious food. Many feel deep joy when they spend time with someone they love. Pursue whatever activities make you feel joyful, rested, and alive to God. You can find more suggestions in your companion guide. You can also find additional resources from Practicing the Way if you're interested in pursuing the Sabbath further. May you deeply enjoy your life with God as you practice the Sabbath.